What a thing to get you in a room, putting a face to all the Facebook profiles that have joined our group, Stop Port Stephens Windfarm. It started as a humble initiative of simple door knocking, and it's led us here.
It's also good to have it in the right place. And given that most of this energy will be going to Sydney, but it's parked off the coast, immediate beautiful coast here. It's also parked in a busy shipping lane. And though you may not see them, but when you go to the beach or a headland, look out to sea, this is the busiest shipping lane in Australia.
I just can't agree with a wind farm going out off here that's 2 times the size of Canberra. How will it affect the dolphins, the wind farms? They just don't know. There's so many people that use the waterway. There's the game fishers, the recreational fishers. There's so many people that use this area. And I just don't think that they've thought about a lot of the ramifications for some of that, those pockets of industry. How will it affect the dolphins, the wind farms? They just don't know. Why does business and an established business have to take the risk? Why are we being the ones who have to carry the risk for this proposal?
My name is Trisha Beattie. I'm the CEO of the New South Wales Professional Fishers Association. We have over 100 commercial fishers in the Newcastle area who are all working in these waters that we're talking about. One of the key UK offshore wind projects was actually axed because Vattenfall, which is one of the largest companies to put in UK offshore wind farms, they determined that it was too costly. These things are extremely expensive to have out in marine waters.
Not just the Port of Newcastle, but Port Botany and Port Melbourne, Hobart, all ships come down this east coast, travel through there. So we've had the experience of the Sigma going up, if you're that old, and also more recently the Pasha Bulker, the loss of 80 containers off a container ship, and I'm sure the skipper and the owners of that ship didn't expect to experience the seas that it did. So this 360 days a year, it might be quite nice out there, but let me tell you, there's a few days of the year where you just don't want to be there. And these proposed floating structures are massive. They have 260 metre long blades on the turbines. They stand nearly 300 metres high, and to the point that Defence had to push them further offshore because they fly within the flight heights that are used by Defence. So it's a project that is fraught with all sorts of possible problems. And we will be the ones here in Port Stephens that will be copping what comes out of it if there are accidents out there in a gale. Some of you may remember it was only a few years ago that the government's initiative on establishing a major aquaculture industry, the kingfish farm, and they reassured us all in a room, concerned residents, that they've been tested to 15-metre seas. They're called fortress pens, and when we dug into it a bit more, they had really not done their homework because they broke up in 6-metre seas, and they quickly moved. And They were reluctant to share how much it would cost the taxpayer, but let me tell you, we did an FOI on it, and reluctantly DPI released the figures, and it was tens of millions of dollars of our money going into it. And I think maybe the government will get a message. It might start with this community, or even so far the Central Coast, and our colleagues here are going to talk about that they moved them off their community. So when communities gather together, because one thing that the government have assured us, that if this one works, they'll want to put more around. Windfarms. I also want to acknowledge that I'm sure most of you in the room are supporters of good renewable energy. I am. I certainly don't have any issues around renewable energy, but it's also good to have it in the right place.